I don't. I mean, I don't have any words. I don't even know what to say. I'm just in complete shock from the blowout that the game was supposed to be, all the way to that third quarter comeback, to getting the lead, to losing to the lead. And then the Josh Hart foul. The Josh Hart foul on Kobe White to get the three. Jalen Brunson has the shot. He almost gets that shot in, but unfortunately cannot get it done. Welcome, everybody, to the Knicks versus the Chicago Bulls postgame show. I am your host, Troy, and I appreciate you guys checking out the stream. As always, shout out to Knicks Nation. Chat gang, I see you, and I promise you, we're going to get to your takes and everything you want to talk about tonight regarding the game. That's going to happen a little bit later. As you guys know, we are on a mission right now. We are on the road to try to get to 20,000 subscribers, and we could really use your support. If you enjoy post-game streams like this and daily Knick content, please consider hitting that subscribe button because it really does support all of the great content that we're creating for you. Now, let's get to tonight's game regarding the Knicks versus the Chicago Bulls. A lot to discuss. Obviously, for me, it's a tale of two quarters. You had the first quarter, it's a tale of two halves, A tale of two halves in this game. You had the first half with the Knicks really not playing any defense. And then in that third quarter, Knicks really not still playing defense until about the 5-minute mark. At that point, the Knicks continue to play defense. They put Campaign into the lineup, and then he's in the rotation. We're making threes. We're being aggressive. We're attacking, and then we make it a close game. We make it so close. We take the lead. We get the lead, and then we try to fight to keep the lead. And then we try to fight to keep the lead. It goes back and forth. We are almost there. A couple of moments left before we win the game. And then Kobe White goes up for a three. He kicks his legs out, whatever the case may be. Josh Hart puts his hand on his back. He fouls him. He goes to the line, hits all of his threes. We have 3 seconds left to get off a shot. We're so close. We almost get it. We almost get it. Jalen Brunson's shot rims in, goes basically in, and then back out. We lose the game. We're going to break down everything that happened in tonight's game. We're going to talk about the key stats, what the Knicks did well, what they didn't do well, and why at the end of the game, Chicago was able to pull out the victory. All of this and so much more today. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. And make sure you have notifications turned on so you don't miss a second of the new content. And now, let's get started. The Knicks rally late, but they cannot come back to beat the Chicago Bulls. It was close there. The Knicks had every opportunity to win that game. Now, obviously, they did not give themselves the best opportunity to win the game starting out because to start the game, the Knicks just forgot how to play defense. You could tell it was a back-to-back for New York. You could feel it. They showed that they had tired legs. They could not run it up and down the court. They looked a step slow the entire game, especially defensively. And the Chicago Bulls, credit to them. They saw that and they attacked. They attacked inside. They attacked outside. And the Knicks' three-point defense is still a problem. Even though the Bulls didn't take full advantage of it tonight, we allowed them to shoot a lot of open threes in that first half that they simply didn't make. I believe Kobe White in that first half was 0 for 4. He's one of their best three-point shooters. If we leave him open, good chances are he's going to make the bucket and we're going to pay for it. We didn't see that in the first half, but we saw it in the second half. That perimeter defense still has to be cleaned up. The paint defense, the interior defense for New York, in the first half, it was like a lineup that anybody could go to. You could walk into the paint and you could get whatever you want. Kobe White getting whatever he want. Nikolai Vucevic on Karl-Anthony Towns or some other defenders getting whatever he wanted inside. But Zach LaVine was the story of that first half. Specifically, that second half. He went off for 14 points. Ended that half with 19. He torched us, specifically torched Mikal Bridges, and his defense was on full display. I think we all have to admit here, we're going to talk about all the players, but for that first half, Mikal Bridges, I don't think I've seen him play a worse first half for the Knicks, especially defensively. His shot was not going down. He was trying to do things from the three-point line that was not going in, but the mid-range for Mikal Bridges is still the money shot. It's the shot that he must go to because it's going to help the Knicks in every game that they play. Whether he gets the shot in or not, he's a threat at making it because his percentage at mid-ranges right now is incredible. So we have to put that in perspective when it comes to Mikal Bridges. But as I said to start off the show, it was a tale of two halves. The first half, the Knicks couldn't buy a bucket, especially in the second quarter. We were just discombobulated. Didn't know what we were doing on defense, didn't know what we were doing on offense, couldn't get other people involved. We were just not being aggressive. It was like we were settling for the three. And I don't understand why we were settling for the three. It didn't make sense. But in that second half, what the Knicks did, even though the defense didn't look good to start off the third quarter, what did look good was Karl-Anthony Towns, was this Knicks team. They started to attack, started to be aggressive, and that's exactly when the game started to turn. And you could give credit to all of it for Karl-Anthony Towns. We do not win this game, ladies and gentlemen, if Karl-Anthony Towns is not aggressive, is not attacking, is not going off, is not taking it to Vucevic. I said before the game started that I expect Towns to dominate this matchup. And there's a reason I said that. Chicago isn't a great team. They're a very bad team. Defensively, they're nothing, especially inside. You got to understand, inside, they just have Nikolai Vucevic. They don't have any more players inside the paint that's going to put any type of resistance in there when you're inside. Cat knew that in the third quarter. It's like somebody like Tom Thibodeau talked to him and said, why are you not attacking Vooch? He's attacking you, and he's showing what he can do when he attacks you. Do the same thing. And he started to do it, and that's where Karl-Anthony Towns started to shine. And he was doing it at each and every time, at each and every interval that you wanted to see, and that's what Towns needed to do. He needed to be aggressive from the start of the game to the end of the game. But unfortunately, Towns did not do that. And I think part of that was due to the Knicks offense just not being together in that first half. But the second half, they started moving the ball, moving themselves. Karl-Anthony Towns gets some information. He's definitely going to get some credit here. But Mikal Bridges is also going to get some credit. I said his defense was bad. His offense was terrible. But let me tell you something. The way we came back, the reason we came back in that third quarter, Karl-Anthony Towns, yes, but Mikal Bridges, yes, too. He started playing defense. He started hitting those mid-range shots. He started playing on ball, moving the ball to other players open. Other players open at the corner, at the wing, passing it to Campaign, to Deuce McBride, to Karl-Anthony Towns. He can do that. He's capable. And when you put Mikal Bridges in that position, he can thrive. Another thing to note, who wasn't in the game when the Knicks were on that run? It was Jalen Brunson. He was on the bench. He was on the bench. Campaign was the one playing point guard for the Knicks. And him and Mikal Bridges was switching in terms of who was being on the ball. But either way, he was aggressive. He was passing the ball, and he was nailing his shots. We were so close. We were going to win this game. We had every single opportunity to close out this game, win it, get that victory. So many opportunities late. We finally get the lead. We are up with only a few minutes left to go. Final minute comes. We see the Josh Hart three. We see the Kobe White three and the foul from Josh Hart. I don't know about you guys. I nearly broke my television. I nearly did not have a TV to watch any more games. I could not believe my eyes. I was just as shocked as Josh Hart. You fouled him on a three-point attempt when we're up three, the thing that you're never supposed to do on a shooter like White, who's clearly either going to make it in or going to kick out his legs because that's what he does. He tries to look for the foul. The Knicks just did not have it in them tonight. They could not get it done. And Hart with that silly foul. He is thinking about that foul now, and he's going to be thinking about that foul for the rest of the night. There is no way not to. If he doesn't do that, the Knicks likely win the game. I don't think White makes that ridiculous, crazy type of weird three-point shot he was trying to hit anyways. So I think the Knicks would have won it. We still would have won it if Jalen Brunson's shot just went a little bit more in than it was out. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. New York drops this game. Let's go ahead and break down some of the key stats of tonight's game, why we lost the game, and what we allowed the Bulls to do. Basically, all game that we really couldn't prevent. And that's really points in the paint. Shout out to ESPN for giving us the following information as well, too. As you can see here, very close game. Heartbreaker that the Knicks lose here, 124 to 123. New York, in terms of point in the paint, New York had 58 to the Bulls 50. Now listen, in terms of point in the paint, for the halftime, New York was losing the point in the paint battle quite heavily. They were not winning. They were getting dominated. But as I mentioned, to start the third quarter, what did Karl-Anthony Towns do? What did Jalen Brunson do? What did Mikal Bridges do? Attack, attack, attack. So they closed the gap from about a 20-point gap inside the paint to basically winning the points in the paint by 8 points. So the Bulls were winning by 20, and then the Knicks came back and took the lead in terms of points in the paint because they knew the assignment. They knew to attack. So that's something to look at. A couple of other things to look at here. Again, with the Knicks and their shooting, their offense, again, 51% from the field, 40% from three. So if anybody's thinking that the Knicks and their offensive game is not there, you're right. It's not there. It can be better. It can be more dangerous. But to say that the Knicks offense is worrisome, the numbers just don't support that. They just don't. 50%, 40%, some teams would love to shoot that. The problem is it's the defense. And another stat you're going to look at here that might drop your jaw a little bit is the fast break points. And also, you're also going to take a look at the free throws made and attempted. That's the biggest stats off of this entire sheet. You want to know where the Knicks lost the game? That's all you have to look at. Look at fast break points here. 26 for the Bulls to 14 for the Knicks. Transition defense. I've mentioned transition defense, I don't know, till I was blue in the face probably, for very, very long now because it's a problem. The Knicks transition defense is not good. It's not been good, and it continues to be a problem. They need to fix that, along with all of the other defensive lapses that they have. The three-point defense, the interior defense. Yes, the Knicks need a lot of work, but the transition buckets, it was just too easy for the Bulls at times. They were walking. They were not even running at times to the lane. Sometimes no resistance. We cannot get caught like that. We have to communicate. We have to talk. No matter how much we're down, we have to make sure we do that. Because if we continue to build those habits, they're going to help us later. But like I mentioned, fast break points. But then again, the free throws, 22 out of 27 for the Bulls. And then the Knicks, 12 of 18. At halftime, it was barely anything. I think at halftime, it was 1 of 3 for New York. As I said, Knicks did not come to play tonight. Because if they did, if they played the same way they played in that second half and the first half, we win this game. It's plain and simple. We're talking about a game that was played by the Knicks in that second half where they woke up, they came to play. Tom Thibodeau basically had a speech at halftime telling them, what are you guys doing? You guys are giving this game away to a Chicago Bulls team that does not deserve to beat you. But unfortunately, that's exactly what we let happen. We let the Bulls beat us. This game was a winnable game. The Knicks could have won this game if they did exactly what they did in the second half. We let it go, we dropped down, and we could not get it going again. Going back to the stat sheet here, and actually even going to James L. Edwards of The Athletic, who gives us the following information. He states, wow, Brunson has a turnaround jumper, toilet bowl out. How did that not go in? Knicks can't complete the 22-point comeback. Bulls win. Towns with 46 points and 10 rebounds. We're going to get to Towns in a second. Jalen Brunson, 24 points and 8 assists. Mikal Bridges, 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. And campaign off the bench with 11 points. New York allowed the Chicago Bulls to shoot 27 free throws and also go to get them in fast break points at 26 to 14. That was the name of the game right there. That was the difference of the game. But one guy we have to talk about, somebody that we need to speak about because it's the main person that's going to help us kind of get through the positives here. The only positive that we can take from tonight's game, and I really do say only because We can talk about Jalen Brunson in a second, but Karl-Anthony Towns, for me, was the biggest positive on the entire night because he continued to attack. He continued to be aggressive. And even though we were down, he never stopped fighting. He never stopped believing. And look at the result. 46 points, 10 rebounds on 18 of 30 shooting, 6 of 12 from the three-point line. That is ridiculous. Cat is the first Knicks player with 45 points and 10 rebounds in a game since Melo in 2024. Since Melo in 2014. That is an insane stat, and all of that is well-deserved to Karl-Anthony Towns. I still got to say, I hope I don't get killed for this, but I'm going to say it anyways. Karl-Anthony Towns, as much good as he does on offense, as good as he is on offense, and mind you, he is very good on offense. One of the better offensive players that we've seen play for a Knicks at the center position. We have to give him credit there. What he's doing offensively is mind-boggling. It's amazing to watch. But defensively, there's still a problem there. Even though he tries, he puts up an effort defensively. Sometimes there isn't an effort there, or the effort is just not as strong as it used to be in some other games. It's just not consistent. That's the word there. Consistency. The Knicks defense just hasn't had a consistent pace to it all season long. Sometimes you see it for a quarter. Sometimes you see it for a half. Sometimes you see it for a few quarters. You don't see it for one quarter, and then you see it again. It's just not consistent, and we have a problem with that. If we don't have consistent defense in the league, we are going to lose more games than we're going to win. And we saw that tonight. We saw that full display tonight. When you do not play defense for 48 minutes and you only play it for 24, you're going to lose the game. You're not going to give yourself the best chance to win games. And that's what happened with New York tonight. Tired legs, but Karl-Anthony Towns was the biggest bright spot of them all. He was scoring at will, doing whatever he wanted to do. And the driving from Towns, the aggression, the attacking, not being scared, taking contact, and even if it means taking some contact that could hurt him, he is still doing it to help the Knicks win games. And you have to appreciate Towns for that. I know we can kill him on defense. I know we can kill him for a few plays here or there. But if any player on my team is going to give all they can on effort on the offensive end and on the defensive end, I can't come up here and complain about him. Karl-Anthony Towns, appreciate you, and I hope you're doing well. For anybody who didn't see the play, he bumped knees with Zach LaVine late in that game. He really couldn't play. He didn't have an offensive game to him, and even though he was in the game, he was really in the game to be a threat. He wasn't going to shoot. You could tell. Jalen Brunson knew when he had the ball in his hands. He could have passed it to Towns. Towns was open when he was being guarded by Zach LaVine, but he didn't pass it to him because he knew he was in pain. Now it's on me. The only people who had it going in the second half was Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns. So who am I going to risk right now to take the shot? It's either going to be Cat or me. And if Cat can't do it, it has to be me. Credit to Brunson recognizing that and hitting big bucket after big bucket. And that last shot, I don't know how it didn't go in. It was all the way there. It was there. It was there. And then it wasn't, and it rimmed out. I couldn't believe the shot rimmed out. I could not believe the shot rimmed out. We should have won this game. We should have won this game. I cannot believe we dropped the game to the Bulls. The Bulls were the team you do not drop the game to. We were supposed to start our winning streak here. The Knicks could not put it together for the entire night. For most of the night, I should say. Not the entire night. Before we went on that run anyways. Before that run, we could not put together any type of basket run. We would score a basket and then allow the Bulls to score 7 and then score 2 and then the Bulls would score 5. We could not put together any consistent baskets with stops. And because we couldn't do that, because our defense was putrid, because we really didn't play any defense in that first half, we lost the game. No matter how hard you want to try to rally back in that second half, you wouldn't have had to rally back if you played the same way in the first half. It might have been a blowout. We might have had a 20-point lead going into the half. Consistency is what I'm going to need to see from this team. But besides Karl-Anthony Towns, we also have to talk about a couple of other players that showed what they can do tonight. They're not going to get a lot of time because I know a lot of people want or expect more from them, especially one player on this graphic. We're talking about Jalen Brunson here. Where is that? There we go. We're talking about Jalen Brunson here. As you can see here, shout out to Let's Talk Knicks on the app X for giving us the following information. Jalen Brunson in the loss to Chicago, 24 points, 8 assists, 9 of 20 from the field. He hit 2 shots to give the Knicks the lead in the final minutes, but somehow his game winner went in and out. Cam Payne versus the Bulls tonight, 11 points, 2 assists, 4 of 4 from the field, 3 of 3 from the three-point line, 3 steals, and 1 block. I mean, listen, we could talk about the bench. We could talk about the starting lineup. We have to give credit to Cam Payne here. Cam Payne, who was injured for the last few games. Cam Payne, who really had no business even doing what he did tonight, showed up and showed out when we needed some more players to do some things on the bench so we didn't have to just rely on Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson. And you have to appreciate what he was able to give to the game. Also, the defense. I felt like when it was Mikal Bridges, when it was Cam Payne, and it was Karl-Anthony Towns in that game, they all started that movement of pushing this game and making us get that run. If you remember, we were down in this game, guys, 22 points in the third quarter. The third quarter that we made the run in, we were down 22. And then in about 5 minutes in that third quarter, the Knicks wake up, we start playing defense, we hit a 3, get a stop, hit a 3, get a stop. Mikal hits a mid-range, get a stop, another mid-range, 11 points straight, timeout, we do it again. We close the third quarter on a 17-0 run. We take the lead in the fourth quarter, we battle for it back and forth, and then as you guys know, the rest is absolutely history. We saw what happened. The Knicks allowed the Bulls to take that three-point shot. They make the free throws to close out the game. Jalen Brunson's shot could not go down. And that's the end of the game. The Knicks lose out. But even though we lose, we have to talk about some of the key things that we saw. And one of the, my goodness, I can't find the slide. I keep messing up the slide here. I apologize for that. But even though we lost the game, guys, a couple things we always have to talk about is that's the players that helped us stay in the game. And Jalen Brunson and Cam Payne, Karl-Anthony Towns, what these guys did for us tonight, it's definitely something that we have to take with a grain of salt because, yes, it feels good to win, and it does feel good when these guys score. But when you lose and these guys score big, it doesn't feel the same. I can't brag about it the same. I can't say, oh, well, Towns scored 46. We lost. He scored. We lost. I love that his offense was great. I love that he was aggressive. We lost. We didn't put the winning streak together. I have been waiting all season long, guys, to say 3 of them things, to be on that win streak. It's just not happening for New York right now. And it doesn't seem to matter because the defense is the biggest problem here. The offense for New York is not a problem. And I don't think anybody who's watched tonight's game thinks that the offense is a problem, at least the biggest problem. The biggest problem is absolutely our defense. And tonight showed you that. The first half was absolutely disgraceful. That's not how New York plays defense. That's not how we would ever play defense. Second half, whatever the case may be, we can say we played good defense then, but it's irrelevant if you don't win the game. Just irrelevant. Let's take a look what some other people did here tonight. Looking at the stat sheet here, we got Mikal Bridges here, 20 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 8 of 15 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3. Karl-Anthony Towns, 46, 10, and 3. Anunoby, 14, 9, and 2. Jalen Brunson, like we just said, 24, 3, and 8. Josh Hart, 6, 8, and 6. 3 of 6 from the field. With Anunoby, didn't have a great shooting night, as we said. 5 of 14 from the field, 2 of 7 from 3. He also didn't do that well against Patrick Williams, who I felt like was his primary defender. I felt like he allowed Patrick Williams to kind of do whatever he wanted. And Williams, he's not really a great player. I think he had 11 points in the first quarter, and he only usually averages 9. So we didn't play that good defense on him. I think we didn't expect him to play that well. I'm pretty sure that was part of it. But OG, I expected a little bit of better defense from OG tonight. I didn't see that, and I think we also saw something here tonight. If OG Anunoby's defense is not top-tier elite and he's suffering from something, then I think the Knicks overall in their defense is going to suffer as well, too. And it's just something to notice there. The Knicks can't let that happen, though. We have to play team defense better, because just allowing what we did, allowing Zach LaVine to go off on us, allowing the Bulls to score at will in the paint against us, it's becoming the blueprint to beat New York. It's what everybody's going to do to beat us. And I don't want to see that happen moving forward. I can't see it happen moving forward. Again, with the bench, you saw McBride with 23 minutes, 2 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists. Campaign, 17 minutes, 11 points, 2 assists, 4 of 4 from the field. Jericho Sims, 9 minutes, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Matt Ryan, 5 minutes, really didn't do anything else. Didn't play that good defense either, if I'm being honest here. But New York did play a 9-man rotation, if you want to call it that. But really, I'll say he played more of a 7-man rotation consistently. That's all we saw. Really, 7 people, not really anybody else. You can count the other minutes we saw there from Jericho Sims, 9 minutes, Matt Ryan, 5 minutes. You can do that if you want to, but at least Tom Thibodeau is trying to expand his rotation a little bit more. It gives me confidence that when Preston Achiuwa comes back, we'll see that rotation expand a little bit. Before we go to the chat, get to your comments tonight and see what you got to have to say about tonight's game. We got to look at the shot chart like we always do and see where the New York Knicks and Chicago Bulls did their damage. New York settled for a lot more threes tonight than they normally do. If I showed you guys what the Knicks did in the Indiana game or the Houston game or all these other games, you can see they were attacking the paint a lot more than they did during this other game. They just kept attacking the paint more in those other games than they did this game. They settled a lot more for the 3, and then in that second half, that's when they started to be aggressive. Most of those points in the paint that you're seeing right now from the Knicks on the shot chart, that happened in the second half because the Knicks were just that aggressive. But conversely, with the Bulls, you can see it's the kind of same exact strategy that many, many, many teams are running against the Knicks. It's running into the paint, penetrating, kicking it out to a cutter, or kicking it out to somebody open at the wing, and then they're getting an open look, and they're usually making the shot. And that's what we saw tonight against the Knicks. Chicago was running it against us. We saw Atlanta doing it against us. We saw a lot of teams that we've lost against doing the exact same thing to us. And also, they've been doubling Brunson when he gets inside the post. So we know what teams are going to run against us. The thing is, though, is Tom Thibodeau going to be enough of a coach to make the adjustments that we need so that way we can prevent our players from experiencing this or going through this? That's the thing that I don't know. I don't know if Tom Thibodeau's capable of making those adjustments. If he's capable of making these type of situation changes that we need in order to get players in the situations and spots so we can actually take advantage of that. I'm not saying Matt Ryan could have been in there in the lineup at the end, but let's say he was. If he was, excuse me for a second. Bless me. Wow. Somebody's talking about me. Excuse me. Let me take a drink of water there for a second. Excuse me. Where was I again? I think I was talking about the contributions, yes, from the team. Well, regards to the contribution from the team and the shot chart. Yeah, there you go, shot chart. Got to remember, with the shot chart that we were at and we were looking at just now, as you can see with New York, the blueprint's becoming clear. You penetrate, you create, you pass to the cutter, or you pass to somebody open at the wing. And when you do that, good things are going to happen for you. New York and Tom Thibodeau are going to have to make adjustments to that because it's happening each and every game to the good teams and the bad teams. Are we going to continue to allow it to happen? Are we going to fight and make a change, make a difference, make something happen? We need to do something because as of right now, the Knicks are not doing enough. And we need to make the adjustments possible, late in game especially, to make sure we can close out better. Because late in game, is it just going to be Jalen Brunson taking those shots? Because if that's the case, everybody's going to know who to guard. We need to allow other players to take those shots as well. But you got to put players out there that are going to have a good chance to make the bucket, make the shot, convert on those points. And Tom Thibodeau needs to be the one to make those adjustments. The Knicks were this close to winning this game, going on a 2-game win streak, something I've been waiting for all season long, really, at least for them to put together a real win streak. But they haven't been able to do that. And I don't know when they're going to be able to, because right now is the moment for them to do that. We don't have the greatest schedule. Our schedule is very bad right now in terms of the teams that we're playing. We just played the Bulls. We're playing the Nets twice in the next few days. We should have already beat the Bulls. We should already be beating the Nets and be going and looking at a 4-game win streak. But now we're looking to start over against the Nets. New York needs to do better defensively. We need to do better offensively. We need to move the ball. We need to move ourselves, but we need to play defense for 48 minutes. Can we try that? Can we try to play defense for 48 minutes? Because I think if we do that, we might have a chance to win the game. We might have a chance to stay in games. We might have a chance to blow out teams. But the defense we saw tonight, nobody should be happy that we barely beat the Bulls. Nobody should be happy that our defense was okay in the second half, but absolutely disgusting in the first half. Everybody's going to say, oh, you always say bad things, Troy. You always say bad things. Do I? I love this team. I say everything that I can say that is truthful and positive. But if there's negatives there, I'm not going to run away from it. Why would I? You have to talk about them so everybody can hear you talk about them so change can happen. I want to see change defensively. Do you? Does anybody? Or are we okay with the defense? We're okay with okay defense. We're okay with allowing Chicago to do whatever they want to do inside the paint. We're okay with that. I don't know about you guys, but I am not okay with that. I am not okay with losing to the Chicago Bulls. I am not okay with having the game be decided by a foul on a three-pointer. We should have won this game. We dropped this game, and it's all on us. You want to know why? Fast break points, free throws, defense. We were terrible at it. And the Bulls, they took full advantage. Shout out to the chat gang. Shout out to everybody. I appreciate you guys joining me during the stream. I know a lot of times when we lose the game, nobody really wants to watch a post game because who wants to watch when your team just lost? Your team just lost. You don't care about a post game anymore. You want to go watch another game, forget about this game, move on to the next one. I understand that. But for tonight, we're taking your takes and hearing you guys live. But before we get there, if you guys are not a subscriber already, I plead with you guys. Please go ahead, hit that subscribe button for your boy, because I'm telling you, it really does help everything we're trying to do tonight. But now, let's go to what everybody's been waiting for, what you guys always come for, the chat gang. All right, guys, give me your takes. Give me what you guys want to talk about. I want to hear from you. So please do that for me. And if you guys could hold on for a second while you guys fill up the chat with your comments, I'm actually going to go get my beer because it's been one of those nights. Give me a second. Oh, we'll put the score up while I go do that. Give me 1 second, guys. Ask your questions now. Give me your takes in the comments now. What did you guys think of the Knicks versus Bulls game? Let me know. What did you like? What you didn't like? Getting to you guys in a second. Okay. All right. Going back to the chat gang. All right. What do we got here? We got member Yuri in the house says we need Mitch back, man. We do need Mitch back. But here's the thing. Mitch is not going to solve this. Mitch will not solve the defense only because the defense only is not Cat's problem. The paint defense is bad, but the perimeter defense, Mitch is not going to fix. Mitch will not fix the perimeter defense. And if Mitch can't fix the perimeter defense, we're still going to get cooked from there. We got a problem. Look at the stats again. Let's take a look at this. The Bulls shot 38% from three. We shot 40%. We allowed the Bulls to take 36 threes. Now, I'm not exaggerating when I'm telling you that they took that many threes and the amount of threes that were open that they missed were many. What happens if they hit those threes? What happened? Exactly. Shout out to you, though. I appreciate you. Carl Knight says, I'm sick right now. Tough ending. You're sick. I'm sick. I have to talk about this game. And tomorrow, I have to drop another video about this game. And I probably have to drop another video about a player on this game. I have to do a lot. And if you guys have noticed, there's not been a lot to talk about right now regarding the Knicks besides the game and the defense. So I've been trying to put out content just about the team as much as possible, as much as I see. But there's not a lot going on because the Knicks players right now, they're locked in on trying to get better defensively. And all we can do is wait to see that happen before we can see other changes occur. But I also think right now, Tom Thibodeau is scratching his head trying to understand where is he going to get some more defensive power from, because it's not going to be from anybody he has right now. He has to look towards his bench. And if you're going to do that, Ariel Hukporti maybe? Just saying. Chris Gotti says, also note, Campaign scored 11 points, but our bench only scored 13 points. Deuce had the other 2. You're right. It's important to understand that our bench did not do what they needed to do tonight in terms of scoring. However, I felt like Deuce McBride was still able to score and get inside the paint, cause problems. If you pull up Deuce McBride again, as you can see, even though he had 2 points, he did give you 23 minutes of playing time, and that doesn't account for the defense that he gave you as well, which I thought was very, very good at times on Kobe White, which he was able to prevent him from penetrating. And at times, I felt like when he was on the floor, he wasn't that big of a detriment. Even though he was missing shots, he was continuing to be aggressive. And an aggressive McBride, I can't hate on that. But to your point, when your bench is just McBride, when your bench is Campaign, and if any one of them have an off night shooting, what are you going to do? I said the exact same thing too. So you're going to need more shooting, of course. You're going to need more play from your bench, of course. But at the same time, it's not so much that we needed more scoring from the bench because we were doing good offensively. And yeah, you could always use more scoring for the bench. You want that. But the thing is, Deuce had his shots. It's not like Deuce didn't have his shots. He was able to put up shots, but he missed a couple of shots that he could have made. So that's something we have to understand here. But if the Knicks were able to play better defense collectively as a team for 48 minutes, we win this game. And that's something we have to understand. Ron says, 5 Knicks in double figures, Cat with 46 points. We were supposed to win this game. The defense is horrible. That's what I'm trying to say. Offensively, we have what we need. Yes. Could we use more? Could our offense be better? Could the bench give us more? Could we run more plays for them? Absolutely. But that's not why we lost tonight's game. We lost tonight's game because of defense. Defense specifically is why we lost. Yuri, all I'm going to say is if the Knicks can't get it together, I know it's early in the season, and I know they're figuring things out on both ends of the floor, but I see them being as a play-in team as of right now. Ooh, that is tough. Shout out to Yuri for that one. Carl says, I'm going to be honest, I don't want to see Jericho Sims play for the New York Knicks anymore. He doesn't bring anything to the team. You know what bothers me about Jericho Sims, guys? The main thing that bothers me about Jericho Sims is that when Sims is in the game, he doesn't look for his shot. He is not aggressive. He looks to pass the ball too often. So because of that, nobody takes him as a threat. Nobody cares enough to take him as a threat. So that's the main problem with that. We got to understand it. Yuri says, defense is better than offense. Defense wins championships. Cheers to that. Defense does win championships. And the Knicks right now do not have the defense that a championship caliber team needs. We're just not there defensively, guys. We're not. We're not even doing the defensive habits that we need to do as a championship caliber team. Our rotations are late. Our switches are late. Our communication at times is non-existent. It sounds quiet out there. Why is it so quiet? Why are we not talking? Why are we not communicating? It's so many different things that we have to understand and look at here. So that's something to note, you know? And it's something that I think that as a team, it's something that we have to note. The Knicks right now, as we speak, in terms of their defense, is probably one of the worst in the league. Not going to lie. One of the worst in the league. And we need to do better on that. And if we're ever going to be a team that people fear inside the paint. Ron Mills says 10 games in and we need to chill. I'm not panicking. You see, I'm not panicking, Ron, but here's the thing. Even though I'm not panicking, it's still something to talk about because the Knicks right now, 10 games in, their defense is bad. Do you think their defense is going to look better in 20 games? Maybe even if their defense looks 25% better, it's still not good enough. It's still problematic. That's the problem. And that's what we have to understand here. I'm going to take a few more comments and then I'm going to just end the stream for tonight because I know a lot of people are just so upset with the game that why would you guys want to talk about the game right now? You're fed up with it. So am I. A couple more comments here. Yuri says defense is better than the offense. Defense wins championships. Sims literally passed the ball away too much. They need to hold a team meeting either tomorrow or before this gets out of hand. It's already out of hand, Yuri. We'll just end it with that, Yuri. We'll end it with your comment. It's already out of hand, ladies and gentlemen. The Knicks defense, what we're doing, how we're playing, how we're operating as a team. We are a very, very poor team defensively. Not only do we have to call a team meeting, I would go just as far to say that the Knicks need to do even more than call a team meeting. They need to work with Tom Thibodeau on things that they need to do in practice that will convert on the court during playtime. And that means either expanding the rotation, playing with more shooters around Jalen and Karl-Anthony Towns, playing a double big lineup with Karl-Anthony Towns and Huck Porty, whatever the case may be. Tonight's game absolutely showed an adjustment and a change is needed. Regardless of if we're expanding the rotation or not, it's clear we're not expanding the rotation to players that we need to expand to. Ariel Huck Porty deserved minutes tonight. And the defense being as bad as it was, he should have been put in the game in the first quarter just to see what we could have done. The second quarter, just to see what he could have done. Maybe our defense doesn't look as bad with Huck Porty in there. We have to try it out. We have to experiment, because if we're not going to fix the defense, if we're just going to continue throughout the season to go through up and down defense, we are going to lose more games than we are going to win. This is on Tom Thibodeau. This is on the coaching staff. To an extent, it's on the players as well, too. I'm not running away from any smoke here. But the Knicks absolutely need to do better. And I think they will do better as we move forward throughout the course of this season. But adjustments are needed. Changes need to be made. Tom Thibodeau, I'm looking at you. Make the changes needed. Make the adjustments needed. We need the defense to be championship caliber. You're a defensive-minded coach. Please give us the defense that we need. But I appreciate everybody joining us for tonight's live stream. We didn't go too long tonight. We broke down tonight's game. We're going to get the video out for you tomorrow. And we're also going to try to get you some more clips, some other videos on some other new topics that may come out. We don't know what's going to happen between now and Friday. Another announcement to make, guys. I will not be available this Friday to do any live streams. That means the post game for the Nets show, the post game for after the Nets game, I'm not going to be doing that, and nor will I be doing the a stream on Friday like I normally do. It's only because I have a couple of things to do with my son that day, a couple of assessments I have to do with him. So I'm just going to be too busy, and I don't want to overwork myself by doing all that during the day and not having any energy at night. So you guys will likely see me again, most likely on the post game for the Sunday matchup against the Brooklyn Nets. And that game I'll likely do post game for. Hopefully we're talking about a win, because nobody wants to talk about a loss. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining this post game show. I appreciate each and everyone who's joined either during the live stream or if you're watching the playback. I appreciate each and every one of you, and thank you so much for all of your great support. If you appreciated this episode and you liked it, please go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below, and of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans, take care of yourself, your families, and each other. Peace and love.